I'd like to call the Board of Commissioners for Palm Beach meeting to order. Could you take the roll, please?
Chair Jean Enright, Vice Chair Peyton MacArthur,
Here.
Secretary Treasurer Catherine Waldron, here. Commissioner Wayne Richards,
Here.
Commissioner Blair Sicker, Executive Director Manuel Almira,
I'm here.
Court Counsel Gregory Higgins.
Here.
Would you stand for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are going to have an executive session. We just have to announce the attorney-client closed door executive session will be about 45 minutes. Those persons attending will include Commissioner Strickland, Commissioner Enright when she arrives, Commissioner MacArthur, Commissioner Richards, Commissioner Waldron, Executive Director Almira, Attorney Ray Pickett, Attorney Don Dignell, and Court Reporter Susan Kruger. We could adjourn to the
Where did I rush over to? Lawrence.
Mr. Manuel, are there any additions or deletions or changes? Commissioners?
We would like to hold item J2, bring it back in November. We have an addition, and I would like to have Don McNell explain the addition so it will be added to today's meeting under consent, please. And we do have two presentations.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Don Bicknell, Jersey Chicken Ryan. I would ask that you add on to the agenda consideration of approving the retainer agreement with Jones and Foster's co-counsel in the first 17 case. I provided you earlier a copy of the agreement with the asterisk that I'm going to add just possibly one sentence clarifying that we will be invoiced as because we are retaining Jones Foster as co-counsel. And I'd ask that you approve us or approve entry into the retainer agreement with Jones Foster with that little addition as necessary.
Any other additions, changes, or deletions?
There is one more, Commissioners, and that would be under 8.7, which is got word, actually, we received word, and we're following up on it. Enterprise Florida will be having a trade mission to the Dominican Republic, November 13th through the 16th. We'd like to, A, alert the board, and B, place it on the agenda, since we are planning on having participating in this trade mission.
Where would that go?
H7.
Was replacing.
Mr. Vice Chair,
As
as the chair, I move that we add, let the record reflect the chair is present. I move that we add the Enterprise Florida, the DR, and then we add H14, the Jones and Foster retainer agreement with the modification.
Full J2.
And for J2, thank you.
Need approval by consent. Need a motion to approve the changes of the consent agenda.
So moved.
All in favor? All in favor, please say aye.
Just want to confirm that we just approved the agenda.
Agenda.
think we want to go to G.
Okay. Now we have consent agenda. Are there any items you want to go from the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, we're actually on F, approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Continue. We have presentations and distribution.
Thank you, Commissioner. Denise, do we have the gentleman from,
Yes, the next one is,
is he here?
yes, more school.
We can bring him up.
Oh, I
think so. Commissioners, you are, you bring a presentation? Sure. Sure.
Vice Mayor Lawrence Gordon, Haverhill, is here to receive the media proclamation. And I can't think of a better person to give it to, because in these times of a lot of respect and lack of stability, it's always good to try to focus on bringing parties together in a peaceful way. So I'm very happy to have you here today, and thank you for bringing this to us.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'd like to say thank you very much. We really appreciate you all doing this for us. I'm not here as Vice Mayor today. I'm here as a member of the Palm Beach County Bar Association, the alternate dispute resolution committee, and we're asking everyone to declare this as mediation week in an effort to get people to be a little more civil to each other, whether they're individuals, communities, companies, wherever there's a dispute and a concern. We're asking people to be civil and to feel that we'll be able to get things done in a more positive manner if we can get more people to behave in a civil manner, and that's the purpose of mediation. And again, thank you so very, very much.
Take care. Take care.
Lawrence, on behalf of my wife and I, please say hello to your better half.
I will.
Make sure, don't forget.
I will not forget.
All right, good to see
Any
you.
other comments?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, Executive Director's report.
Actually, we have two more awards, Commissioner, Service Awards.
Let's hold up for 1 second.
Sure.
We need to go back on this, okay, because we have a commissioner who wants to put something
Just a
on the
bit.
consent agenda.
We haven't approved the consent yet, after presentations that we get to consent.
Sorry.
Sure, thank you. Yes. When you walk into and you drive around the port, you immediately see how nice and neat everything is, and we are so happy and very proud to have one of the two of the individuals that are responsible for the state of the port, essentially. It really is. They maintain this port wonderfully. So with that, what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring up Mac Maynard. Where are you, Mac? And Eklund Fredericks. Mac's been with us 10 years. I remember when he walked in, and congratulations, you've done a fantastic job. And of course, Ivan, where are you? These guys. I've been with us for 5 years.
This slim guy next to me. Congratulations. Congratulations.
One more.
Another 10 years. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're doing one more.
Let's get a room with him.
That's no work for me.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
like to pull item H11.
For discussion or pull it totally?
I'll pull it for a discussion and a possible change. On the executive director's contract is always going from July to July. This time we waited till October. I'm wondering if the board, if we're going to continue to do it in October, maybe we should extend this contract to October and just make it annually October. Right now, we're making things retroactive for 3 months because in the contract it says July 13th. So just the pleasure of the board.
Makes things easier.
Commissioner Walters?
Sorry, yes, it makes things easier. I'm up for it.
Madam Chair,
What is your pleasure, Manny? I mean,
Madam Chair, if we could approve the consent, which it's appropriate to not discuss
Okay,
consent
we will.
items. If we could
We will
approve
approve the consent, then we'll go back. I know Mr. McArthur mentioned it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you have an approval of the consent?
I move to
agenda, please?
approve the consent. Mine is H11.
A second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. Now, Ms. Gordon. Yes.
you have a
It makes
preference?
a difference. It really makes a difference.
Yeah, I think that normally when we do the performance review in the summer, we just add the year.
That is correct.
It didn't happen. You have you have a preference?
Maybe
You have a preference?
in July,
I just think we should either do the review in July, like it says in the contract, or we should change it to October and do it in October. But the actual event of the review should coincide with what's said in the contract.
My take on it, I understand what you're saying, but during that time, the reason why it was not done in July, my understanding, Mr. Mayor's sister was very ill. Am I correct? And then, was that during that time or?
no,
another
no,
time?
ma'am, no. If you recall, your conversation we had, it had to do more with what would be the budgeted amount for
Right.
a salary increase.
Okay, because we had not approved the budget, and we wanted to have the budget workshop first before we dealt with salaries. So, Commissioner Sickler?
Greg, as the attorney, does it matter? Do you have to go through a lot of, changing things if we change it from October?
No, you can change it to October if you like, that raise whatever increase Mr. Turner might otherwise have been entitled to from, and let's talk about next year, for example.
Right.
If you're gonna move it to October, then that sort of
Right.
takes away 3 months of whatever the salary increase would be.
I don't,
So stick with what we got.
Yeah, I'm good with that too.
I'm okay with where we are, because then we'll have to go back with the salaries and all of that. I think we should, next year, make sure that it is done in July. And then maybe we might want to look at doing our budget workshops a little bit earlier. Because I would like to see us look at the budget and then go forth and then look at salaries. Because if you have the budget.
That's a little.
We're good to
Oh,
go.
wait.
A little difficult.
Just clarification, so what I'm hearing, the majority of us okay leaving it the way it is, but please confirm that we've added the year that we always do. Have we added the year to the contract?
Yes.
Yes, we did. We did that in our board meeting. We
Yes,
added
we did.
the
That's
year.
in-
Okay, thank you.
So
So
we're
I
good.
move that we approve H11 as presented.
Any other comments on each of them?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye, motion carries 5-0. Okay. Ms. Vaughn, everyone on the call? Anyone? Yes. Okay. Ms. Vaughn, district reports, Mr. Mayor, please.
sure. This often happens, by the way, where I get last minute information, so you don't see it in the material that I submitted, but I will talk about it. But let's start with what you do have in front of you. The Bahamas Paradise Company, the grand celebration, as we all know, had canceled some sailings out of the Port of Palm Beach to assist with the aftermath of the several gas explosions up in Boston, Massachusetts. The ship sailed on October the 1st to Massachusetts and will be providing housing, if needed, for worker restoring service. The grand celebration will resume normal cruise operations in December. This according to the cruise line. was also told this morning that everything is going well up in Massachusetts. It's cold. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they're having some difficulties with liquor license. That's what we were told. Moving on, commissioners. In Massachusetts. Update on the F.I.N.D. dredging plans. The Florida Inland Navigation District, F.I.N.D., has requested a sealed bid for construction of the Intercoastal Waterway Maintenance Dredging Project. Here's another piece of information we learned today. The company that was awarded goes by the name of Orion Dredge out of Tampa. The award amount was $4.4 million. This project will run from the Port of Palm Beach, and you can see on the map up on top there, from the Port of Palm Beach all the way down to the town of Palm Beach docks. The project is approximately 4.5 miles in length. The intercoastal waterway would be dredged to a depth of 10 to 12 feet below low tide. Approximately 90,000 cubic yards of materials will be removed, with the material being placed on fines disposal site at the northern end of Peanut Island. The project is scheduled to begin in January the 19th, or should I say January 2019, and will take approximately 6 months to complete. Also advised today that the last time that part of the intercoastal was dredged was about 40 to 45 years ago. They are calling this a regular maintenance, they're not expanding. And so far everything is green light and nothing yet from any of the no environmental concerns. Commissioner, moving on to break bulk, which happened back in October the 2nd and 4th. We participated in this event, and as you can see in the background, our display booth and our, what do you want to call that, our the wall with our name, and we had it at the here at the lobby, and it shows very, very well, and it was well organized as well as well participated. And as I mentioned earlier, this is just information that came through. There's a company by the name of Titan Construction Company. They owned Commercial Steel. Commercial Steel is the company responsible for the importation of steel rebars. Titan Construction Company has purchased the land that is next to Tropical's, let's call it a campus out in MLK. It's in an area of about 5 acres. What they are planning on doing is establishing that as their distribution point for not only steel rebar, but other steel materials. The city of Riviera Beach last night approved the site plan, which means that they can now close on the deal, which is expected to take place on November the 4th, and as of November 6th, they will be starting to move the steel rebars that we have an abundance of here at the port, starting to move it over. Ultimately, what this is going to do for the port is it's going to add additional importation of steel rebars, since they now have a place to put it outside the port. So that was good news. For the sake of time, I'm going to just move on to events, and that is the port. The Palm Beach North Chamber of Commerce held a CEO Connection luncheon yesterday on board the ship. It featured O'Neill Kosha, the CEO and part owner of the Bahama Paradise Cruise Line. Also, on October the 24th, that's next Wednesday, the port will be sponsoring the Palm Beach North Chamber Breakfast at the Palm Beach Gardens Marriott. This event will feature the Senate President designated Bill Galvano. We have a table, and we have been asked to make a 5-minute presentation with Commissioner Enright has agreed to do that.
Is it the Richard Pinsky going to be able to go?
Yes, he is. You mentioned he would. I thought exactly he better be there. All right. Commissioners, are there any questions? If not,
Thank you very much.
start off with the Berth team project, as we might well remember in the last board meeting. Representative from the contractor LMH indicated that the project will be substantially completed by Friday, September 28th. The project was not completed or achieved substantial completion. As of today, items that still have not been completed are railings on the dolphin structure, navigational lights on the dolphin structure, which are subject to the installation of defenders. On the upland side, contractor has installed the first layer of asphalt, but they're still pending the final and second layer of asphalt on the upland side, as well as the adjustments of the F.I.N.L. Catholic protection boxes, which are on the west side of the project. We have not received a new date of completion from the contractor. I might as well probably bring them up and to give us an update. But as we can show in the pictures, the project is so close to be done, but the activities that I need to perform are still on the progress. So, John, can you come up and give us more information regarding the completion of the project?
John Capasso, LMW Soul. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I wish I was standing here with Jose saying we're done, but we've got about 2 steps to get across the finish line here. So I guess the answer you're looking for is next week. This work will be completed and we'll be able to turn it over. We have some minor items, as Jose said, to complete. The water work essentially is all done. The dolphins, the concrete. We're doing some minor dredging with some shoaling outside the Berth. That'll be done Saturday. And this right here, what you're looking at, became a very big obstacle that we didn't anticipate. But however, we worked our way through it and we'll have it done. So at the end of next week, everything should be all buttoned up. We've got the striping to do. We'll just have to coordinate that with all the moving of the traffic and then, but essentially we should turn it over to.
Has AECom signed off on all the waterside construction? We redid the dolphins several times, or they conferred that it's
Not yet.
time?
Not yet. They will have to, once the contractor indicates that they have substantially completed, they will have to request AECom to certify the substantial completion, which will include to accept and approve for the work that has been performed. So far, they have not requested substantial completion certification, so that will be a process that will be done. If that happens next week, then AECom will have to certify the completion of the project as per drawings and specifications.
Thank you.
For what it's worth, Commissioner, the AECom inspector and myself, we did go out and look at the work. We didn't find any defects. So we'll do the formal request, but it has been, the work we performed has been inspected.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Madam Chair and Commissioners, just for John Capasso and everybody else, we have scheduled a ship to dock at that berth on November 5th. We cannot delay it. Monday, November 5th, we will have a ship there. So LMH, just be aware of that, please. Thank you.
You said next week, so.
And
Well,
excuse me, you said next week, by next week, what you think, Friday or Monday or Tuesday? I guess you can't put down a date, but you never know what might happen in the state of Florida with weather. And if that be the case, would you all be there in the night time to ensure that you get it done?
I appreciate you bringing up weather. That's been something that has interfered with our work. If everything goes well, we'll be finished, be able to turn the report over to you. It's just substantial completion next Friday.
Okay. Thank you very much. You may continue. Thank you.
So next project, the MOB demolition and cargo improvement project. The board received the building and demolition permit from the city on October 1st. We issue a notice to proceed for the contractor, which is Reconstruction, starting November the 8th. They already start mobilization to the project. They have already started with the submittal process for planning and materials that will be used. So construction will be, in the next few weeks, will starting to be see more action in the building demolition. As of now, the process of the building the demolition plan has been submitted, and we're in the process of approving it so they can move forward to start with the actual work. Vertex Tower. The tower was completed on October the 4th with the installation of the fence, the perimeter fence. The city of Rivera Beach already provided all the inspections related to the installation and construction of the project. They're waiting on one letter to be submitted by the contractor from Vertex to the city, which will trigger the release of the CO for the use of the antenna. Vertex is already on the receiving visits from the vendors that will be using the equipment on the antenna, like AT&T. So as soon as they get the CO, we'll probably see more action in the antenna by installing new equipment on the structure. Any questions related to this?
Questions, Commissioner? Yeah, thank you very much, John Becker. Let's continue. Ms. Kinsey, you have anything here?
Madam Chair, Richard Pinsky, thank you very much for the opportunity. In the report, we were asked to participate in a conversation regarding public transit possibilities to port for port staff as workers, as well as folks coming on and off the cruise ship. The report's in your book. The action item would be directing your own port staff at this point to flush out what has to ensue. There's a couple of options in there. Commissioner Waldron intended to maybe she may want to add something, and then after this, I have one more item about the local government.
In terms of the contract, yeah. Well, we met with TPA head for a while and talked about the feasibility of bringing a Comtran on the shuttle to the port for the drop off and pick up cruise ship people, and as a way to help load the cruise ship and provide easier access for people. One, I know that there's concern about costs, and we talked about working with the TPA to get it on the priority list and look for grants and things like that. So we would anticipate your costing cruise the port money, but we would like to have a discussion about the feasibility of doing this and interest. Is that right?
That right. If you want to pursue this, there's two options. The funding is there to help offset it, and then you may have some tenants on the port, such as the cruise line, that may want to also participate. So nowadays, Brightline is increasing its traffic. If you felt there was a need to connect the cruise passengers to Brightline or Tri-Rail or the airport, you have a number of people that may want to shop at the outlet mall, and you want that connection as well. Trying to use the public bus transit system. The director of the MPO thought that was untenable and not worth pursuing. It would take too long to go to all these places. But what it would be more viable would be your own direct transit that would just make a loop. You could leave, arrive an hour or two before the ship sails, and an hour or two after the ship arrives. Different ways to work it. Own your own equipment and get reimbursed, or retain a third-party operator and get reimbursed. So just if you wanted to pursue.
Any comments?
Yeah.
Commissioner?
Doesn't the bus system now stop at like the mall and other places? And I'm just curious, like if they go to the Gardens Mall, I'm sure the Gardens Mall doesn't pay them anything. So is that something that you've asked, or? I mean, there's other places they stop, and I don't think, for one, the Gardens Mall, I don't think they give us a penny. So that's something I would be very.
There are two issues. One is if you want to continue using just the public buses, then yes, we would want to pursue the conversation of the bus pulling on the property, stopping. That may not be the most tenable if you are trying to haul your luggage to connect to the Brightline train to go to Miami, or you want to go to the outlet mall and fill up a couple of suitcases and bring them back. I mean, the notion of stopping, every half mile or so on a bus to go to the Gardens Mall and then try to connect downtown back up to the outlet mall. So if you're trying to, just for your port employees, you could say, okay, well, there's the bus, and do you want them to stop on the property for that? But if you're trying to accommodate connectivity to multimodal transportation systems, as well as facilitate, and that's why I say the cruise line may have an interest in helping offset that, then the fastest, best, cheapest would be a dedicated shuttle bus that would leave like twice a day.
My comment is, I don't see how we can benefit from any of this. Like you said, if we just had a bus for employees, just come to the port, yes. But if you're traveling and going on a cruise, I cannot even imagine how many people you would have a month to even use the bus to come with that luggage to even come here. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there needs to be a study. I just cannot see when you're traveling and you're taking a cruise to take a bus to the port. It's not there. Unless we can get something that's free.
Yeah, that's what I said, a public bus system I don't think would be the option, but if you were in Miami, and for some reason this was in your itinerary that you wanted to go to the Bahamas from here, you would take the Brightline, you would have a dedicated shuttle. That would be
Well,
just.
I guess we'll discuss it later on, but how many people would actually use it?
No idea.
We're moving on, I won't say anything.
That's wrong. We just move on and maybe we'll discuss it later.
Yeah, well, I had spoken to Ken Hearn about this because someone had talked to me about it. And Ken, didn't we have a brief conversation? And wasn't there quite a bit of interest in something like this?
There is a lot of interest because, a lot of people are coming and taking taxis from here to like Comtran and Brightline. Having a different option would be welcomed by some of the passengers. And, I understand the luggage issue, but, these are 2-day cruises. People don't take monster luggage with them. It's just a form of transportation. The city, the Comtran right now goes north and south on US 1. What they have to do is walk out to the corner of almost 13th Street and US 1 to catch the bus to take them downtown to go to the Brightline station, which is straight down the street and then straight back on north and southbound one route. So again, trying to get that bus, instead of having to have passengers walk all the way out to US 1 13th Street, the question is could we bring that bus through 11th Street, Avenue C, maybe even the parking lot. I sent that request to Comtran and basically got a notification back that they'd be more than happy to do it for $200,000 a year. They're looking for different options for the last 4 years.
Mr. Mayor.
Since the ship's been here.
Mr. Mayor, let's do this. Have staff look into it, and find out if it's possible with $0 or, and bring it back to us. But I don't see the port investing funds in trying to get this off the ground, and if we're going to be committed to so many hundreds of thousands or even 50, 60 a year. So if you can do that for us, I really appreciate it, and we're just going. Thank you very much.
Okay, I have been formally, based on our prior meeting discussions about anything coming up this session, I have been formally notified the Palm Beach County Legislative Delegation we will not be having a local bill this year, which means we're not changing anything in the charter, we're not doing anything that is unique and specific to the Port of Palm Beach. Now, if today or maybe even at the November meeting, should you change your mind, there's maybe an opportunity, but the window is closing, so I just want to let you know I haven't formally told them we're not going to be doing a local bill. That's nothing to do with bills of general nature. So if there was something about, let's say slip permitting that you wanted to do in the future, that is not a local bill. So we still have that option, but something unique, specific to Port of Palm Beach, that opportunity is closing.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Commissioner reports, do you have anything, Ms. Walden? Okay, Mr. McArthur?
Nothing new.
Thank you very much. Let's continue. Old business. Peanut Island, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioners. Here's an update on Peanut Island, not much, but first thing first, if you notice, we did complete the tarping and fumigation of Peanut Island. That was successful. Getting the equipment out there and bringing it back took a little bit of a challenge. It was a bit of a challenge. It took a little bit of creativity from Ken and his operations people. But again, success. As far as the Peanut Island itself, we did receive the MOU from the county back to us. Right now, it is with staff and we're working it with Mr. Pickett. We should be able to finish this MOU once and for all. If it's approved by the board, it is my intention to bring it back in the month of November. Our next steering committee meeting will be this coming Wednesday, the 24th, I believe. Yes. Any questions on that? Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioner? Let's go on. J2? Oh, before, okay. J3.
Good afternoon. The September 20th board meeting, the budget was approved with amendments. The amendments that were asked for was a reduction of our expenses by $39,357 to cover the difference between a 3% and a 5% raise. We have accomplished that, and what I'd like to do is show you that at that time we presented a budget with a bottom line of $2,110,815. The budget is now $2,150,352. We've added the $39,500 requested. The adjustments were in business development. We added $9,500 between advertising, promotional, and publication and printing expenses. In security and operations, we reduced $19,000 worth of expenses, and that was with contract security and buildings and grounds. And lastly, in other areas, we reduced expenses by about $11,000. One of them was we refined the budget with the raises and found out that we had included an employee that was not eligible, so that saved $2,300. The insurance bills came in $3,900 cheaper than we had originally budgeted, and they came in. We pushed some expenses into this year for computer software upgrade, and we will cut our office supplies by $1,200 to make the $39,000 requested.
I have a question. Go back a slide. You have the security. Is that mainly because we have one ship there instead of two? Did that make that difference?
We took a look at it, and with Mr. Hearn, basically.
Right, so.
Passenger count
right,
was a little bit lower than we
right, so
anticipated,
instead
so
of
we
two.
were able to cut back.
It's really just basically one head count for a half a day. So we wouldn't be meeting.
Okay.
Before I go on very quickly, the board had asked the last time that we take a look at the opt-out. And as you're all aware, a survey did go out, and I'm surprised to say, but glad to say that we received 100% return. Of the 52 surveys that went out, 3 employees, and again, this was anonymous, so I can't say who, 3 employees said that they would consider it. One of them said they would consider it if we gave them $7,000 a year. And the other 2 looked at about $4,000 a year, and they might consider it. Again, with only 3 people interested, that's not to say 3 people can do it. We'd have to identify who they are, take a look at the plans they're opting out to, whether it's themselves or their spouse, and find out if they qualify under the Affordable Care Act. And then we need to move forward to contact those people and find out. So my question is, for the minimal impact that we've had, is it something you'd still like us to pursue?
Commissioners, any comments?
Well, put the numbers together, and then after you, I think it's worth looking at. I know the economic feasible, but if it's a family type thing, it could save some money.
I have some quick numbers that I did, based upon theoretics.
Okay.
I'll pick a number of $5,000, somewhere between 7 and 4.
Okay.
If family coverage, if we went from family to employee and children, so the spouse went to another plan, that would save the poor $10,000. If we gave 5 back, it would save us $5,000. If we went from employee and spouse to employee only, which means that the spouse went on a different plan, we would save $11,000. After the 5, we would save $6,000. And if the employee said, I'm not gonna use your insurance, I'm going on some other plan, that would save about 10, that would save 5. So if it happened to be that these 3 people were eligible, and they happen to just happen to hit one of each of these categories, the net savings would be about $15,000 to $17,000.
Not worth it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
With that then, I'd ask that motion to approve the final operating budget adjustments and to approve the final resolution for the budget.
Second. Any questions, discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries
I
5.
vote no because I voted no for the budget originally.
Oh, yes, because you have a problem.
Yes.
I understand. He has a problem with the salaries of 5%. But we also said that this was an exception because of the funds we made this year. Okay, thank you very much. All in favor, please say aye. Aye, motion carries 4. Thank you very much. Job well done. I knew you would find the money. Thank you. All right, Mr. Mayor, let's continue.
Yes, this has to do with rescheduling of our 4 meetings. 4 meetings, as you know, are scheduled for every 3rd Thursday of the month. Occasionally, a commissioner is unable to attend on the scheduled date. We try to be accommodating by changing the date of a meeting is very challenging for staff due to all the items and reports that make up the agenda. Therefore, I am asking direction from the board how to handle such incidents in the future. As we know, this past week or so, we attempted to change the date, but we had 2 no's and we had not very clear as to which way we went after that. So therefore, if I may, I'd like to suggest something. What if we call for a supermajority? And that is, it's 4 votes, then it gets changed. Or, I'm all ears.
Okay, so in that scenario, that scenario, the person, let's say I want to change the date, and 3 people can do it, but 1 person can't. That's a supermajority, and so basically, the person who says they can't is being sort of punished. He or she's missing a meeting now, not because they didn't schedule it in their calendar for the 3rd Thursday, but just because.
Yeah, things happen.
So I just think that makes sense. Sort of makes sense. But I guess the point is that I think the default should always be unless everybody can make it should. That's my opinion.
Mr. I'm sorry, Mr. Amir, this is not really complicated. Let's just make it simple.
I'm all ears.
We've been on this board all these years. I think the best way to do it is that if someone needs to make a change, like, for example, during this meeting, and we would have all the commissioners to kind of look at your schedule, and if you need to make a change, you can bring it to this meeting, say, hey, next month, I don't see how I can do it in November. And then at the end of the meeting, we just look at each other and say, hey, let's do it or let's not. And then let it go like that. I think the supermajority and all this falling back, I think it's crazy. But I think it's simple. Just take today. Some of us might already have in our mind what November is going to look like. And if that be the case, then you can just say, hey, before we make the meeting date, the meeting should always be the 3rd Thursday in the month. But if a commissioner wants to make a change, I have no problem with it. But I think maybe it should be brought to the meeting in advance. If something is on your calendar that you cannot be there on the date. And then at this meeting, we can make that decision at the end and say, hey, you want to get it for this day or whatever. And we've done that before when we've talked about a commissioner not being at a meeting. We make a decision right up here, and I think it's better than that. Commissioner Sickland?
The problem is that sometimes things come up, and we don't know, like for today, for November. So I think, I agree with Catherine, I think that just everyone has to agree. And we should probably put maybe a 2-week or something like that, so the last week we can't say, well, let's change it. but I think if it's in the first week,
Yeah, I think that's a good point, we should do it.
and we don't do it that often.
Right.
We don't,
No.
that's true, we don't.
Manuel, wasn't my understanding that you were concerned if we did it, if we changed it after a meeting, that staff would be in effect polling the board?
Well, that's a gray area. That also is a major concern of ours, because if Commissioner A wants to change it, we have no other choice but to ask the other commissioners, even though they don't know what, we don't tell them where it's going, as far as who's saying yes or who's saying no. But, you know, it's very tough and difficult, as you can imagine, to try to coordinate it, because all of you work, we work, and, you know, Denise and I sit there and try to untangle this web of events. So please understand that we get that. We understand we'll do what the board would like us to do. However, I will tell you, and I think Commissioner Sickland is correct, we don't do this very often. It's not a major deal. But this past time, we got caught in the middle in that two commissioners said yes. We knew one commissioner wanted to change it, and then we had two commissioners that basically said, well, what the others want. Well, the others said no, and technically we have a 3-2 no, but again, we got caught in the middle, and I just want to, you know, from this point on, maybe there is no solution. Maybe there isn't. They just continue going the way we are, and that'll be fine. We'll do it. But it's one of those tasks that really sets everybody, when I say everybody here, staff on fire. And the reason for that is sometimes we move it back, and then the subsequent month, then we don't have enough time to be able to put, you know, the agenda in a proper form. So I like what Commissioner McCarthy said. We have our meetings every third Thursday. We try to stick to that, but if it happens, okay, you know, we'll work it.
I do think we should, and in the past, I have asked for a change. I do think we should do our best to maintain the third Thursday. I understand you cannot poll, you should not poll, but if you were to call a commission to say there's been a request to move the meeting to the fourth Thursday or the fifth, whatever, how'd you schedule? I'm not counsel for the board, but I don't see how the party is sunshine. And I do think if we say they need to, if everyone's available, you can make a move. I think that makes sense, but as Catherine's indicated, one person says, no, I'm out of town, or I can't make it, then we don't move. That's just not fair to the person. So I do think we should do our best to maintain the third Thursday, 4 p.m. But every blue moon, if there's a request, I think to try to honor it if it works.
That's fine.
And pretty much leave you guys alone as much as possible.
Any other comments?
Appreciate it.
So
We will do our best.
you do your best,
That's
because
it.
the last it just got
Yeah, we'll
bottled
leave
up and.
It did. It really did. It got away from us. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's continue. J3. No, I'm sorry, K2. K2.
Commissioners, during the month of September, board staff went through the process of request for qualifications for the new project for the Berth 1 replacement of the new bulkhead. During the request, 4 companies, interested firms provided professional services proposals to the port. On October 5th, board held a public meeting in which we presented the scoring results for the compliance committee composed by 3 staff members of the board.
Commissioners, this is the criteria that was used to make sure that all the submissions were compliant with the RFQ. You can see, of course, down on the bottom that we did have a category for MWBE participation, and also under the main heading, we had them list the subcontractors who would be the NWBE and estimate their actual percentage of work inside the overall portion of the project. This is the compliance committee's results. All three members' findings were consistent across all four submissions. So now we are asking the board to select the firms that they wish to receive presentations from at the November board meeting and how long those presentations should be.
Commissioner Richard.
Well, looking at this, it seems to be pretty simple. I'd recommend that we look at the top three, and then we possibly do 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll make a motion if that's appropriate.
Hold on. Right. Any other comments? Before we go on, the top three now. And we're going to give them 5 minutes each. 10 minutes.
It should be sure.
Ten.
It should be, yes, if they're going with three, for a project of this scope and nature, it should be a minimum of 10 minutes.
Okay, if they're 10 minutes, 10, 20, 30, 40.
3 times
Oh,
30.
I know, but I think that we should look at all four. And the reason why is because, I know they're architects, but, you're just giving them 10 minutes and either, I think that all four should have an opportunity. Not saying that, I have nothing wrong with the scoring because we trust staff, but we're commissioners and we're the ones who make the decision. I have no problem with all four giving a presentation because they're just four. Now, unless the scoring, they were so much out of the range, I would like to see all four. But if commissioners say three, then we'll do three, but 10 minutes just for 40 minutes. And they might reveal something that we don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
Excuse me, Chairman.
Yes.
Additionally, if we go with 10 minutes, it's still going to take on an average of, say, 5 minutes per presentation for questions and answers. So you're really looking at about 15 minutes per firm, door to door.
And I believe, Commissioners, we should clarify something. The last firm, B Architects, they are architects, they're not engineers. And as such, speaking with staff, we feel that they do not qualify for this particular project.
Because we're looking for engineers and not for them, so in essence, what you were saying, that they would probably go and find a company, farm it out to do
Right.
the engineering work for them instead of them specifically doing the work. Okay.
Nothing against this.
Right, I
great
understand what
firm.
you're saying.
Nothing against them.
But we were looking for an engineering firm.
That
Okay,
is correct.
I have no problem, so three.
I move that Kimberly Warren Jacobs Engineering Group and Mott Down Florida LLC be invited to present at the next meeting for up to 10 minutes.
We said Jacobs, Kimberly Warren,
Yes.
Yes, the top, the second. You already did, you already did. Any other comments or discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Okay. Excuse me, one more slide. Just to let you know what's coming up in November. In November, the commission is going to be asked to rank the firms in order, first, second, third, which you've all done numerous times. Once that's happened, then the executive director is going to proceed with the competitive negotiations. Because of course, this is all being conducted under the CCNA. We are also going to request at that time that the board authorize the executive director to execute an initial work order after they've completed the negotiations with an amount not to exceed $50,000 so that the selected firm can start moving immediately. The reason we're asking this is that there is a really tight time schedule due to the contractual agreement that we have with Berth International. We can't dawdle on this.
And also, Commissioners, when the firms give the presentation next month, the total cost of the project will not be discussed. That's something that's going to be negotiated. The presentations will show the firm's understanding of the project and how they will comply with the timeline. This is the second time you've heard that timeline. We are in a tremendous rush. To that end, as I mentioned to Commissioner Sickland this morning, we've already alerted City of Rivera Beach for the permitting process. We'll let them know via email, in fact, it was yesterday. Here it is in October, that we just cannot afford any delays with the permit, the issuing of the permit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Job well done. I have a comment card. We have comments from the public. And I have one that is, Mr. George Black wanted to comment on what's that, K1? K1. I'm sorry. Go on. It was given to me a couple minutes ago, after we had already discussed K1.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Lane, Palm Beach Shore, Florida, 33404. I just wanted to mention that I agree with Manny and Mr. Richards' former declaration that he made about 7 years ago, that we should keep it as best we can on Thursdays. I understand in the event of hurricanes or unusual events that the meeting should or could be changed, and it can be changed, as I understand, by the vote of the commission. I think it is necessary that we should forewarn the public in advance far enough that they can arrange their own schedules as well as the court arranges its schedule, because there's a team here. So that, I resign the floor, and I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Resign the floor, and I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Since you were talking about schedule of meetings, when we were discussing it, I should have brought up something. Our December meeting, which is scheduled for December 20th, I would like for us to, that's December 20th, change it to December 13th. And I'm asking at this board meeting because that will be the last meeting of the year, and it will also be the last meeting Commissioner McLaughlin will be sitting here with us.
That don't apply.
And therefore, after that meeting, hopefully we will plan some kind of dinner for him, like we've always done with retired commissioners, like we've done in the past. And I think it would be appropriate if the meeting is changed to December 13th, because on the 20th, it's kind of close to Santa Claus and all those things that are going on, Christmas, whatever. And board commissioners will agree with me, and I'm asking you way in advance.
Okay.
You okay?
So you got out of town?
You okay?
Yes.
We'll
accommodate you, that's fine.
So you'll leave here 1 week early.
That's
Good job. Okay, I'm just kidding. So what we've asked now, do we need to vote on this, or it's just, we don't need to vote? So now our December meeting will be held on Thursday, December 13th at 4 p.m. instead of December 20th. Okay? Now, comments from the commissioners. We'll start with Commissioner Waldron. Commissioner Richards.
I have a very long list.
Go on. I'm waiting. Commissioner McLaughlin.
Good day, thank you.
Commissioner Sickland.
I think the only thing, what you just did is fine, and I think that would help us from now on. If all the commissioners come to the meeting and they can see something coming up in the next 1, 2, 3 months, they could be a conflict. I know it's kind of tough to do it so far out, but then it shouldn't be any problem at all. Which otherwise, just leave it on the third Thursday.
I have no comments. Mr. Mayor?
We need to, or we'd like to schedule an executive session for the next meeting.
Our next meeting will be held on Thursday, November 15th. But prior to that, we're going to schedule an executive session with our attorneys then the meeting at 4 p.m. The executive session followed by the meeting.
Well, actually, the meeting opens and then we go into executive session.
Meeting then executive session,
And it's for the purpose of.
which is
getting,
Thursday, November
board to
15th.
Put on strategy and litigation.
You want to say, you want to add that?
That's, I just need to have it in the record that the attorney requested the executive session. Just technicality of the statute.
Thank you very much. Well, that's it. Meeting is adjourned. Right, November 15th. Our next meeting is Thursday, November 15th at 4 p.m.